Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Icewind, head out to Choke or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
Okay, all the things are on. Okay. Welcome to Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show. Shout out to J-Dog for getting today's code before it was ever on the screen or in the chat. Apparently, I'm predictable. Like, I can't help if it fits. If it fits, I sits. That's just that's the way it works. But welcome to Gaarawarr's Guide to the Feast of the Moon, Year 7. We're going to go over the events in general, all three of the champions, you know, the thing we do after an event starts. Except when Extra Life happens. That's like the one exception. As with everything in Idle Champions, there's an exception to every rule, so, yeah. And helping today, Gabe. Gabe is here with us in chat. Gabe's running the production booth. Gabe's going to be grabbing questions from chat, keeping an eye on all you folks, making sure we get you all the answers. If you have a question, as it says down in the white box down there, put question colon before them, because the Q&A portion happens in the second half of the stream. Unlike pretty much every other show on this channel where it's like, including mine, including Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything Idle Champions, usually you throw a question in and then it gets answered fairly quickly. But with this one, I talk for an hour ish. Then we have a short musical interlude, and then I come back and then we do the Q&A. And that's what we're going to do today. That's what we're going to do today. All right. So, dive in general primer, because we do... general primer, sir! Because we do have a lot of new people coming to the game constantly. Events are pretty regular things. Events tend to happen every 3 weeks. There are 17 events in a year, but the math doesn't work out to make it always because that's 51 weeks and there's 52 weeks in a year. So every now and then things change a little bit. Sometimes you'll get an event back to back. Sometimes sometimes there'll be a couple weeks in between events, and sometimes it's not even about just making up for that random week. Sometimes it's about release schedules and things. So But roughly every 3 weeks, an event happens, and an event arrives. It brings us a brand new champion to the game, and also brings 2 back from prior years. So the 2 most recent years. So this is event year 7, and the event year 7 champion is Jang Sao, but we've also brought back 2 champions from prior years, Virgil and Widdle, and that's the year 5 and 6 champions. All the year 1 through 4 champions, those are now available in time gates over here. You can grab every single champion in the game that ever arrived in an event from a time gate. Once you have enough pieces, or on natural time gate weekends, right? So everything is still available to you. You can still use them. You can still gear them up. But events are the primary delivery system of new champions to the game, and we get one every 3 weeks. So normally you're in your these regular campaign maps, but when an event pops, it's right up here at the top. They want to let you know this should be your priority because it's limited time only. Events drop Wednesdays at noon, Pacifically speaking. All times when we're talking about Idle Champions are Pacifically speaking. So they drop at noon on a Wednesday, and then 12 days later, they're done at noon on a Monday. That's the way it works. It's 12. That's 12 days, right? Now I'm going to count. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know why I doubted myself. So, Beast of the Moon will end on the November 20th, 2023. Yeah, that's the way it works. The math in my head. See, math. So when this arrives, you come to this map. You're going to have one single adventure node. All of the adventures are in it. So we can see Widdle, year 5, Virgil, year 6, Jang Sao, year 7. It's the same adventure for everyone. It's the Crypt of Legends. That's, the adventure that you're playing and the enemies that you're fighting. It's all the Crypt of Legends. It's all the same. What changes between the 3 is the formation layout. So as you can see, Widdle's formation is a turkey leg? It's like a drumstick? I don't know. It looks like a turkey drumstick, maybe, or a chicken drumstick, or maybe that's a buffalo wing. I don't know. So, Widdle's is pretty neat. Each of the formation layouts is going to offer a different challenge, and Widdle's is pretty good. You get a 2 champion front line. You get a lot of adjacencies, plus some space for people to hang out on their own. And, pretty good. Pretty good. Virgil's is... What? Virgil's is like a lightning bolt, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I don't know. That's close enough. It's rougher. It's going to be a little rougher for new players and veterans or people with an established bench of champions are going to be able to build a pretty solid formation for this. New players relying on like the core champions, it's going to be a little rougher. You can do it. I've got in my guide to the champions and to the event that I put up a new guide to the event on subreddit. Every time an event comes out, you can find suggested starter formations, and you can adjust them as you see fit. As always, whenever somebody offers up a formation to you, your job isn't just to copy paste and not think about it. Your job is to look at it, put it in, and then figure out why that's the suggested formation. What is it that's going on here, and why? And then how can I make it better? Right. So Virgil's, Jang Sao's, it didn't get any better as we went down the list, folks. We got a star pattern here with Jang Sao, thematically appropriate, and it works for her abilities too. But woo. Boy, not the easiest formation in the world, right? So as always, for people who are wondering, which one should I use? Which formation should I push deep in to get favor? Widdle, yeah. It's gonna be the friendliest for deep pushing, especially for newer players. So each one, like I said, each formation is going to offer its own unique challenges. And that's just kind of part of how events work. It's part of how events work. So if you haven't done any of the unlock adventures, it won't say free play, it'll say unlock, and it'll have the champion here, because the first thing you get for free when you do these is the champion. The full price, the newest champion will always be full price. The unlock adventure is 100 tokens. The older champions are always reduced cost, 25%. On sale. Get them while you can. 25 tokens to unlock. Once you get the free plays start at 500 tokens. And this time around, the tokens are the skulls for Feast of the Moon. 500 tokens. And then every time you do another free play, the cost goes up by 500 tokens until it caps at 2,500. So this will be the most you'll ever pay for a free play is 2,500, which is great. You're going to earn more than enough tokens over the course of the event to run all the things, to do all of the adventures and the variants, get yourself some extra gear. And of course, as always, the way you can get extra tokens is by using bounty contracts. Bounty contracts are those scrolls you get out of chests when you open them, which is what you should be. You should be spending your gems on chests and then opening chests, right? And then you get bounty contracts. Yeah. And of course, the internet gods once again are unhappy with me today, so we're going to be probably stuttering every now and then. If you want to turn the stream down on quality to like 480p, it'll be a little blurrier, but it probably won't stutter. Just a heads up. I have no control of this. I've been troubleshooted everything in my house, and it's fine. It's somewhere else, unfortunately. All right. So once you've done the unlock adventures, the variants pop up. I highly recommend, I say this every time, I highly recommend you not attempt variants in this game until they show as difficulty easy. This is nice green color. The difficulty ratings are 100% based on favor, whether it's a campaign or an event like this. So the good thing to do and to start with right off the bat is to work on your favor. And doing the initial unlock adventures, that means pushing as far as you can during them, because they're inexpensive runs, right? At 25 tokens and 100 tokens. You're basically getting 3 free plays for favor. But if they don't all show as green when you're done with those, hop into a free play for one of them. Again, I think Widdle's is the one that's going to make it easiest for you to push deep. And try to work on your favor. You might have to do it a couple times. You might even need to get help on your formation from the Discord or the subreddit, or a stream. It's harder to do on streams unless you can tune into Formation Save with Sean. But yeah. Once they're green, you can dive right in. The way the variants work is the first one's always a completion area 75, the second is 125, and the third is 175. It isn't the completion area that makes them difficult, though. It's these restrictions in the box down here. What's in the box? It's restrictions. It's restrictions. And the restrictions are what make all variants harder. And why you shouldn't really push for favor in a variant. You should just, once you get to 75, bounce. Right? Keep your favor pushes to free plays. So let's look at these. Widdle, Dampiric Nature. Widdle begins in the formation. She can't be moved or removed. And that they signify this down here in the box with this white C right in the middle. So they placed her in the middle of her formation, and that's Widdle in the middle. Because that actually is a good thing for her. She likes adjacencies. So they're going to teach you that right away. Undead enemies deal 200% additional damage and move 200% faster. Gold finders reduced by 99%. These are all non-factors. I'm just going to be honest. We'll talk about Widdle in a bit, but Widdle's going to help you attack faster. So you'll be able to clear out those waves faster. When it comes to the gold find is reduced by 99%, don't freak out. This is a game of large numbers. This is why we use scientific notation up here in the top right. If we had 1 more percent to this and we just make it 100%, that is basically EO2. It is literally 1 EO2, which means if you subtract an EO2 from your favor, that's basically what it's done. So as long as you have more, as long as you have a lot of favor, this doesn't mean anything. This is why I say get them all to green, and you'll flow right through this, and you won't even notice that there was a reduction. Okay, so that one's, pretty straightforward. Strahd's test. Widdle may have a vendetta against Strahd, but she's also eligible for his patron variants. As such, the Dark Lord has set up a test for our latest champion. At each boss level, an additional undead boss appears. So, double bosses. What does it mean? It means Strahd's pissed. It is what it is. Again, as long as this shows as green, not a problem. Not double bosses isn't a problem. All right, a Widdle of this, a Widdle of that. Widdle begins in the formation. She can't be moved or removed. Once again, she's in her best location right here. The base attack cooldown of all champions is increased by 5 seconds. They're doing this for a reason, and it's that Widdle has an ability that can speed up your base attack, but also can get you free attacks, like instant resets on your base attack. They're trying to make this more apparent to you by slowing everything down. Right? This increase does not affect Heroes of the Plains champions, which doesn't matter because Heroes of the Plains doesn't have a DPS champion, and that's the one you really need attacking at a regular speed, right? So they do have a super secret DPS called Penelope Halfpint, but still. A giant rat accompanies the formation, intent on becoming friends with Widdle's pet rat, Gaarawarr. Widdle said not to hurt it. So that's what the red X back here means. That means you have an escort of some kind in this mission. It's not an escort. Even though there's an X here, it's an escort. Gaarawarr, jeez. So you're going to be down a champion here. And anytime you're down an entire champion, the easiest way to overcome that power loss is to try to get some more power in your formation. I recommend at least an order of magnitude more power. That's EO1, more power, or more favor. You usually need like 5 EO8 to make the third one show up as green. So shoot for 5 EO9. If you can hit E10 easily on favor pushes, before you try to do anything, you'll blow through everything just fine. Just so you know. Just so you know. All right, next up, Virgil, Eye of the Storm. Virgil begins in the formation. He can't be moved or removed. They put him all the way in the back here, which is interesting because Virgil generally wants to be next to your DPS. So this is going to be a more, but this one's, a little different. But at least you only have to go to 75. Only champions next to Virgil can deal damage, man. I mean, they're forcing it on you, right? And that's the restriction. So basically, they just want you to put someone right back here. You could put them here, you could put them here, you could put them here, you could put them here. One of these 4 slots is where your DPS is going to be. It doesn't really change your ability to kill things. Like, you can clear this content. It's going to slow you down a little because all of the 5 champions up here in the front aren't going to be able to help kill things in the early levels. Only the 5 champions in the back will. So not really that horrible of a thing. And just getting used to, I've got to put my DPS all the way back here. That's going to be a change for newer players. All right, an inseparable bond. Virgil begins in the formation. He can't be removed. You'll notice there's no C here because he can be moved around. So this time you're flexible in where you place him. You just have to leave him in. You may only use champions with a wisdom of 12 or higher. So this is the restriction, really, is that it's 12 or higher. You should be able to field a somewhat decent formation, even with that restriction. Again, if for some reason you have empty formation slots, or you're using what I call filler champions, a champion that's just in there to take up space but isn't really contributing. Again, another order of magnitude of favor. Right? Freak weather conditions. Virgil's a weather wizard. This is why it's the lightning bolt. Virgil begins in the formation. He can't be removed. Every 5 areas, the weather drastically changes. While snowing, all champions' normal attack cooldown speeds are increased by 5 seconds. Good news, everybody. Virgil's got an attack speed increase. You might want to use that spec. We'll talk about it when we get there. While thundering, a bolt of lightning strikes a random champion every 5 seconds, dealing damage equal to 50% of their max health and stunning them for 5 seconds. That one's rough. Not going to lie. Champions that give temporary HP shields, like Calliope. This is good. Only running a single tank in the front line with that shielder. That's the best way to do it. It keeps your overall health in the party low. And the shields can then soak up all that damage. You might want to run like Calliope if you're running Calliope. Can you run Calliope with Virgil? Yes. Calliope and Virgil. Calliope in her lore spec lets her get shields out faster. Yeah. Try that. And yes, Calliope is better for this than Briv. Calliope prevents the damage. Briv only can heal it if he's taking damage, and it doesn't even count with this thing. So it's just not. You want a shielder for this. While foggy, champions deal no damage with ranged attacks. So what you really want is a melee or magic champion for your DPS in this run. You want to have Calliope in lore spec. And you want Virgil in his attack speed spec, and then you can get through this. Because the thing is every time the weather changes, Virgil gets a buff, and it stacks. So they're feeding you power. You just have to survive long enough to get it. That's all it comes down to. Okay. For Jang Sao, the newest champion, the Circle of Stars, Jang Sao joins the formation. She can't be moved or removed, and they put you to the sea is right here at the top of the star. That's where they're going to want her. Only champions in formation slots with 2 or fewer adjacent slots can deal damage. This is yeah. So, maybe you're going to either have to put them like right here, like at the bottom of the second column. If you're using like Nialian stuff as a starter, they can go here, or they could go here. Like you could throw Delana all the way in the back, or here, or here. That's it. That's the only place that can do damage. Your primary damage dealer, I think ideally is just placed here, unless you're using like a Delana, in which case back here. But yeah, this one's actually challenging. Again, you only have to get to 75. Once you understand that's where they have to go, shouldn't be a problem. Because there is no other restriction here. Wise and otherwise, once again, Jang Sao's in the formation. She can't be removed, but you can move her wherever you want. You may only use champions with a dex of 15 plus or a wisdom of 13 plus. This has to do with her spec choices, if I recall correctly. We'll go over it in a bit. But yeah, so restricting, but you get a double pool, so it shouldn't be too rough. As long as you can feel the champions, it shows a green, you should be fine. Stars and moons, they're taking some places away from us. This makes this one harder. Jang Sao joins the formation. She can be moved but not removed. 2 to 3 astral elves spawn with each wave. They don't drop gold, nor do they count towards quest progress. So they're just trying to feed some extra enemies to you to make things, a little more hectic. A star and a moon each fill a slot in the formation. That's cool. But you're down 2 champions. Which means, even though this is like EO8 requirement to make green, you're probably going to need E10 or higher to make up for that loss of power. There's no other restriction other than that, but losing 2 formation slots is a big restriction. It's a big restriction. Each champion has a lot of power. So, yeah. So this one's just going to need a lot of favor. Favor in events is the stick that you beat things with. Consistently, if you can get E10 or higher favor in an event, again, none of these will ever be difficult for you, really. Yeah, there's exception to every rule, but all right, let's hop in. Every event, I forgot to mention this, every event has its own kind of favor. Obviously, I'm talking about favor, I just forgot to mention, hey, you'll start off at 0 in an event, But the thing is events are mini campaigns, and they're set to be easier. So the health scaling is lower, the gold scaling is higher. So you can push deeper in an event than you can anywhere else in any other campaign in the game, and you'll earn favor faster in events. So no fret. All right, let's hop into the Crypt of Legends. Jang Sao. Jang Sao. All right. So let me throw some familiars out here to keep the streets clean. Oh no. Okay. Virgil. I'm like, oh no, where is everybody again? Widdle. And slot 8, Jang Sao. Okay. Here's our 3 champions. You can always find their information up here. And it is, I think, we're gonna do this like this. For those of you who are trying to do like the bonus quests from the season, 100% complete means ticking off all the green check marks. Usually when people aren't 100% complete, it's either they didn't do this numbered achievement, or they didn't do the specific achievement for the champion. Like I've got Jang Sao incomplete, but that's because I haven't got any gear for her yet. Once I get gear for her, she'll be 100%. So those are the things you're looking for if you're trying to figure out that achievement, or those bonus quests. Those bonus quests. All right, let's throw some levels in everyone, and then we'll go over each of the champions, starting with Widdle. All right, this is Widdle. Widdle comes to us from the Heroes of the Plains streamiverse. There were a lot of different streams, and the Widdle's all over the place. Widdle currently in Idle Champions presents Fatebreaker as well. Widdle's a healing support and speed champion, female Dampier Gnome Wizard. For those of you, as always, who are wondering, what's the difference between a Dampier and a vampire? One of them is wet. Chaotic neutral alignment, super old. Basic attack is magical. I know she's holding a blunderbuss. The blunderbuss is her magical focus. It's what she casts her spells through, just to be clear. So Widdle fires a firebolt from her enormous blunderbuss, damaging a random enemy. But she's not here to do the damage, folks, so her base attack doesn't really matter. What she's here to do is make everything go faster. Make everything goes faster. So, Vampiric Gaze. Widdle charms those adjacent to her with her Vampiric Gaze, increasing their damage by a lot. This is why having Widdle in the middle is kind of the great thing. Having her adjacent to as many people as possible. Obviously, the primary one she needs to be adjacent to is your primary DPS, but there's going to be more reasons you want people adjacent to them. No, Mr. McCranky, you can't fire me for dad jokes. Look, it's true. Hurry up now. Champions affected by a Vampiric Gaze have a 25% chance to immediately reset their base attack cooldown after they attack. This is the attack speed trigger, or the base attack reset trigger. So this is another reason why you're going to want certain people next to Widdle. What certain people are those? Anyone who wants to attack faster. Obviously your primary DPS. But also any on-hit debuffers, or anyone whose abilities or effects scale based off attacking quickly. Get them next to Widdle. Get them next to Widdle, and it's going to help. If you can build your formation with them next to Widdle, yes. Yes. Tasty Friends. This is the speed ability. Champions affected by Vampiric Gaze look extra tasty to the enemies. Each affected champion increases the monster spawn speed by 10%, stacking additively. So the more people you have adjacent to Widdle, the faster enemies spawn. She also has item support for this. I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest bonus is just having like 6 people next to her. She doesn't need a ton of item levels. And in fact, her item doesn't have a cap on it. But there is a functional cap for this type of speed effect in the game. Because enemy spawn speed is relating the amount of frames it takes. I usually say the time it takes, but it is the amount of frames it takes for them to get from over here on the right-hand side of the screen to right here where they start taking damage from things. And the fastest that can ever be is 1 frame. The problem with that is that 1 frame could change, like how much it takes to get to 1 frame can change from system to system, from computer to computer, device to device. It can be based off how the frame rate you have the game set to. So they can't, like, you just understand there's not really a good reason to dump tons and tons and tons of item levels into Widdle, because at a certain point it's not going to help anything go faster. It's not. So I only have mine at around 171. She could probably go higher. I mean, at some point I'm going to have to get her up to the point where this caps. So, yeah. But then by putting a bunch of people around her, she gets a big speed boost. Okay. So don't fret if you don't have a ton of power there. Item levels there. She isn't as hungry for them as other champions. All right, the spec choices do the same thing, but their trigger is different, and their effect and who they affect is it's basically who they're affecting is different. So, in every situation, the effect of Widdle's abilities on champions affected by vampiric gaze are increased by 50%. However, the target changes based off stats. Strength Dex over 12, Int Con over 12, or Wisdom Charisma over 12. They put these numbers down here. The numbers are a trap. Numbers are a trap. Okay? You need to understand, 100% you need to be picking your primary DPS. The choice needs to be based off your primary DPS being in one of these 3 buckets. So this is a situation, I say this all the time, there are some specializations where instead of numbers down here, they need a list of the names of the affected champions in the formation. This is a perfect example of this. Because then you see your primary DPS, sure. Then you can look at who else is in that bucket that's adjacent to her, and see who else you could speed up and pick the most appropriate one. That you have to do that here, because it means, you know, it means attack speed stuff is going to be better on if they fit in this bucket and yada yada yada, right? So choose the one that's gonna give you the most people, targeting the most people around here, but primarily including her primary DPS. Yeah. Okay. Only as slow as the fastest link. It wasn't enough that she can give you a chance to reset your base attack cooldown. She also comes in and says champions affected by her vampiric gaze have a base attack cooldown equal to the quickest of the affected champions. This means you can do some attack speed shenaniganry. We like shenaniganry in this house. So right now we see Virgil 8-second cooldown. Jang Sao 4.5 seconds. So if we take Virgil and we put Virgil next to Widdle, not only is Virgil now getting that's what? Is it buggy? Do we have a bug in this game? Never. It's buggy. Okay, so if we take the 4.5 second person and we place the high person next to that, this is how it's supposed to work. It reduces their cooldown to match. Everyone next to Widdle right now would have, if they had a higher than 4.5 second cooldown, it would come down to 4.5 seconds. And if we can bring somebody down super fast to like an attack every second, that gets shared. As long as they're adjacent to Widdle, that gets shared with everyone adjacent to Widdle. This is a fantastic way to manipulate your attack speed and make things go faster. I don't know what that bug is, but that's a bug. But it didn't matter. That was interesting. Okay. That's everything on Widdle. So again, Widdle is all about placing people adjacent to her and those adjacent people getting buffs. And it's great for attack speed stuff. And also a fantastic speed champion that you'll see in a lot of speed formations. Ultimate is Vampiric Bite. It is what it sounds like. It leaps out and bites, ferociously bites a random enemy, dealing enormous damage. Then leaps back to the formation where her Vampiric Bite heals her and everyone affected by Vampiric Gaze for an amount equal to her own max health. So a full top off for her. And if everyone around her has similar health, they're going to get it all too. So, but it has to be people adjacent to her only. Okay. There is manipulative situations where you can, like, right before you hit the ultimate, you could move her next to the tanks if they need a top off, hit the ult, and it would heal the tanks, and then you could move her back wherever you wanted. You can get manually manipulative with it if you'd like, but just know that the heal is just adjacent to her. Okay. Item-wise, we get pair of damage all champions items. We get a Vampiric Gaze boost, so yay. And then also the speed item, but you know, everything is damage and this is speed. That's it. Ultimate attack damage and ultimate cooldown. Feats, we have a lot more stuff over here. We got some damage all champions. We got some Vampiric Gaze. Hurry up now. So this is the attack speed trigger, right? We get Tasty Friends. Those are the speed abilities. We get a Constitution. This qualifies her for Vajra as a patron. Yeah. There you go. I need to get this one. Yeah. Because it's going to boost the chance to reset the attack speed cooldown. Just to have it in my back pocket. There is a shenanigan. I guess we'll pause for shenanigans, folks. There is a shenanigan with Widdle, which is really cool. It has to do with her friend Alindra from the Heroes of the Plains. Alindra is the holder of all of the kind of affiliation power for Heroes of the Plains. So she has the ability to boost effects for other Heroes of the Plains champions. When that comes to Widdle, it says Vampiric Gaze effects on the portented champion is increased by a lot, like percents, right? Well, the Vampiric Gaze effects isn't just about the damage. This does boost the damage by a lot, as long as you're meeting this requirement. But Alindra has a portent that she puts on adjacent champions. So as long as you're meeting this trigger, yeah, it is boosting the damage. So you would want the DPS to be portented. But remember, one of the Vampiric Gaze effects is that attack reset. So if we take Widdle and Alindra, and we put them so they are both adjacent to the same person, when this champion gets portented by Alindra, which it'll show up with a little symbol over them here in a moment. That happens every so often. Their attack reset, Widdle's attack reset, there it goes. They've got a little eye. The attack reset is now on blast. As if we had enemies out constantly, they're just on animation cooldown. They are now attacking. They are not waiting their cooldown timer. It's just over and over and over and over again. When this is a melee champion, I call this chainsaw mode. When it's a ranged or magical champion, I call it machine gun mode. Because as long as there's enemies on the screen, they're just constantly firing. It's not as noticeable here because we're at a low level, but it's just a constant. So it's a great way if you're trying to do some shenanigans with attack speed and trigger lots of attacks for something. But, you know, it's not necessary. Attacking quickly isn't always the best way to progress in this game. So it isn't necessarily something you're going to want to do all the time. But it is a shenanigan. Widdle's achievement. What was Widdle's achievement? Oh, trigger hurry up now 10,000 times. So there you go. This is that shenanigan is a way you can trigger that very quickly. This is basically a use Widdle a lot, but if you want to try to farm this and you've got Alindra, there's your in. Just get to you, like close to your wall where there's just a constant, just tons of enemies on the screen constantly, and then just park there, and you'll burn through this real fast with some speed potions. Next up, Virgil. Virgil comes to us from the Rivals of Waterdeep. Both the Heroes of the Plains and the Rivals of Waterdeep are what we call complete affiliations. They have all their members in them, so you can grab those at any time. Melee Zamar Sorcerer, neutral good, support and speed champion. Base attack is magic missile. Virgil fires 3 magic missiles at random targets. That can be nice because if you have hit-based enemies, when they segmented health and they only need like 1 damage to remove a segment, Virgil can remove 3 if they're the only thing on the screen. Virgil has a passive ability called Inseparable. This is their tie to Kent. So as if Kent qualifies for any adventure, regardless of restrictions, Virgil can go to. And vice versa. This works both ways. So it allows Kent and Virgil to go in a lot of places that they normally wouldn't. And they can always be in a formation together once you have them both. Storm Sorcerer is their main source of buffage. Virgil increases the damage of all adjacent champions. So once again, like Widdle, they want to be adjacent to your primary DPS. They also decrease the normal attack speed cooldown by 1 second. So again, putting Virgil next to someone that's also next to Widdle, that's, it's going to reduce their attack speed, and then Widdle's going to share that with everyone. Weather control. Virgil gains a weather. This is their uniqueness. Virgil gains a weather stack each time the weather changes when advancing to a new area or when it's changed by an ultimate attack or other ability. Virgil tracks each type of weather. And weather is going to be like clear, foggy, thunderstorm, snow. That's what we're talking about. Each stack is multiplied by 10%, and then all stacks are multiplied together. So it isn't just about ramping up a single stack or even 2 stacks. You want to try to get all the different kinds of stacks and get them some numbers, because multiplicatively stacking is the good way. And then that total value is what increases damage of all champions, and stacks cap at 500. So this is a fantastic way to get some multiplicatively stacking goodness, as long as you're actually triggering a weather change. Like, we haven't triggered one yet. I wonder how that happens. We'll get there. We'll get there. There's multiple champions that can do that, but Virgil can do it himself too. Rapid fire. Enemies that are defeated within 2 seconds of, this is the speed effect, 2 seconds of being on screen have a 5% chance to drop double quest items or count for double quest progress for each Rivals of Waterdeep champion in the formation, stacking additively. Now, if Virgil's by himself, that's 5%. If you have all of them in, that's 30%. So the more rivals that you're using, the better his speed effect gets. Now, his speed effect is supported by an item, and that item has a cap, so it's the slot 5. You can max it out. It basically makes it, with Virgil alone, 100% chance. But that also then means it's an even bigger chance when all of them are together, right? So yeah, lots of extra credit. Specializations. Relaxed, anxious, or determined. Each one has a slightly different effect. So for relaxed, Virgil's magic missile and chain lightning attacks turn green, so you can tell what spec he's in. He further increases Storm Sorcerer's damage boost by 100% and increases attack cooldown reduction by a further 1 second. I'm not gonna lie, I run this one constantly. There's times to use these others, but most of the time I want Virgil reducing attack speed by 2 seconds, and then I'll take that double damage boost, right? So this is great for attack speed boosting. Anxious, again, changes magic missiles and chain lightning, but turns them amber, then the color you see here. Increases the number of magic missiles he fires by 1, and there is a 25% chance he stuns an enemy struck by one of his magic missiles for 5 seconds. So the anxious is if you need some crowd control effects, and if there are certain champions that like crowd control effects, like Lucius. So if you're pairing them with like a Lucius, this is a good way to go, because the more crowd control effects that are on the screen, the more damage Lucius does. Determined, hey, you guessed it, it turns attacks violet. Virgil increases weather control's damage boost by 33% for each Rivals of Waterdeep formation champion in the formation, stacking multiplicatively. If you're running a Rivals group and you're manipulating weather stacks, Determined can get big. Determined can get big. Okay. Also, in large part because some of the rivals have weather, right? Virgil's ultimate is Chain Lightning. He attacks a random enemy with a bolt of lightning, dealing ultimate damage. Every 0.2 seconds, the lightning bolt attacks another random enemy until 20 enemies have been struck or no enemies remain. This is a solid ultimate, okay? In addition, the area's weather changes to thunder. Thunderstorms. There it goes. It's the rain effect. And now Virgil has weather stacks. Thunderstorm stacks. Now when we clear this other area, it's going to change back to clear weather. And suddenly Virgil will have a stack to multiply against. There. Oh, it just did it. There. See, no weather. Okay. So having a familiar on Virgil's ultimate is going to help him stack up at least 2 separate stacks. But adding more champions in, like Gaarawarr can make it snow. And Kent can bring in the fog. Doing this with these other champions will get you lots of all 4 stacks. Okay. Okay, surprise mood. Angry. While a champion in the formation is knocked out, that means, they've been knocked unconscious, aka dead. Virgil's magic missile, or they're just count as dead. Some champions just count as dead. Virgil's magic missile and chain lightning attacks turn red. And any enemy he hits with his base attack takes an additional 8,000, well, a large percent damage. It's going to change depending on your numbers, for the next 5 seconds. So this is a debuff he applies. If an enemy is hit again, the timer's reset, but it doesn't stack. So Virgil can do an on-hit debuff if you have someone in your formation that's dead. I don't, like, when someone dies, this isn't the best way to do it, but there are champions that count as dead at certain times, like Spurt, and Blue Sheep, Voronika. There's dead people in the game. And that will just trigger this. So you can have, that's another way you can add additional pushing power is with the debuff. Item-wise, pair damage all champions items. You get Storm Sorcerer, you get Weather Control, and you get Rapid Fire. Again, this is the speed one. He is item level hungry. You can see that cap, 1985 on an epic shiny. He is demanding, which makes him one of probably the last champions you would want to feed lots of item levels to. As you're ramping up, there are other speed champions who are going to get you major effects with less of an investment, but eventually you'll want to cap this out. And then ultimate cooldown reduction, feat-wise, damage all champions, Storm Sorcerer, Weather Control, all the things you'd imagine. Rapid Fire, so you can get the speed effect boosted a bit. Strength, this is going to qualify you for Patron Zerial. And then we come down here, Virgil got an Immolation feat. These are fantastic for support champions. When you're dealing with hit-based or armored enemies, especially the armored ones. Again, Virgil throws out 3 magic missiles. Well, his attacks deal an additional 1 second of bud damage every second for 5 seconds. And that can be triggered on each magic missile. So you can help chew through hit-based or armored enemies with this feat. Yeah, Virgil's pretty great. I use Virgil a lot for speed stuff. All right, and our newest champion, Jang Sao. I've got no gear. We're going to gear her up live. So for those of you who've been wondering, what's the most efficient way to get to full blue? I know you want to get to full blue. I know you're not like, what's the most efficient way to get to epic? Because that's not a thing. You can't efficiently get to epic. We'll talk about how to get to epic, but efficiency is about getting to full blue, and we're gonna go over that live on stream. Jang Sao is unaffiliated. Jang Sao arrived as part of the Isle Champions Present Fatebreaker collaboration with Gina Darling and CNE Games to create a unique champion that didn't exist anywhere else. They're a female satyr druid wizard. They're 888 years old. They've been around a while, folks. Healing and support champion, neutral alignment. Their base attack is ranged, So it's a ranged physical attack. Jang Sao throws a star at the nearest enemy. Not like a throwing star. They're not a ninja. It's a literal star. Jang Sao is stars and moons. So yeah. Base ability, the Mysterious Wanderer. Jang Sao increases damage of all champions in the formation in formation slots with 2 or fewer adjacent slots. This is that. Remember that restriction on the variant? This is why, because this is how she buffs. So when you put her in a formation, you have to have your primary DPS in a formation slot that has 2 or fewer adjacencies, or she's not buffing them. So this is a restriction on her. There are some formations this may not work. So understand this. Star Collector. Each time an enemy is defeated, there's a 1% chance it drops a star. That means in 100 kills, there's a chance you'll get 1 star. I know that some people are like, well, duh, of course that's what it means. But some people need to hear that. 100 kills, not guaranteed star. 100 kills, chance to get 1 star. Jang Sao collects these stars and increases the effect of the Mysterious Wanderer by 1% for each star collected over all adventures, stacking additively. This is a permanently stacking ability. There's a cap at 4 billion stacks. That cap exists just because it needs to be capped, not because you need to go hunt 4 billion stacks. Because, as I said before, a star has a 1% chance to drop. That means you need, even if it was guaranteed, you'd need to kill 100 enemies to get a star, which means you'd need to kill 400 billion to get her capped. That's a lot of enemies, folks. So just know, she's going to slowly accrue stars. There's ways to farm this. I did this on stream on Wednesday. I built a farm formation because it doesn't say she has to kill them. So this can totally be click kills. Or you can throw her in formations with other people that want to grind stuff. And she's just like, yay, stars. Okay. Stellar Nursery. Every 5 seconds, Jang Sao heals the 2 most damaged champions in the formation for some health. The health value will change. So, every 5 seconds, she can basically heal anyone. If anybody in your party is taking damage, the 2 that are the most damaged get healed. But she can tick that off to everybody. There's no restriction on where that can go, other than the 2 most damaged champions. Okay. All right, let's talk about her spec choice. Wisdom of the Ages versus Speed of Shooting Stars. So, Wisdom of the Ages, Jang Sao increases the effect of the Mysterious Wanderer by 100% for each champion in the formation with a Wisdom of 13 plus, and it stacks multiplicatively. That's the good way. So, the Speed of Shooting Stars, same thing, but with Dexterity of 15 plus. You want to choose her specialization after you've built your entire deep pushing formation, and then pick the highest number. This is one where you do just want the highest number, because you want to get the most multiplicatively stacking goodness out of this that you can. Okay. So that's fairly easy for that first specialization choice. Starry Form is her ultimate. Jang Sao transforms into her starry form for 15 seconds and fires shooting stars at her enemies, making them take 100% additional damage for the duration. So double damage while she's in starry form. Super cool looking. Super cool looking. So yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. But once it wears off, no more double damage. Again, just double damage. I say just, but it is just compared to some things. Second specialization choice. Moon Collector, Star Caller, or Night Runner. Okay. Moon Collector, in addition to collecting stars, Jang Sao collects moons. Each time an enemy is defeated, there is a 0.5% chance it drops a moon. So that's 1 in 200. Jang Sao collects these moons for the purpose of star collector, and they count as 5 stars. So this is a way to speed up your farming of stars. So if that's the only reason you would pick this. If you want to farm stars, if you're doing a star farming formation, or the only reason she's in your formation is to collect stars, you want her in Moon Collector. You want her in Moon Collector. Okay. Star Caller, Jang Sao fires 3 more stars from her lantern when she uses her Starry Form ultimate, and the ultimate's damage debuff is multiplied by the number of stars fired, stacking additively. Okay, so this is a way to ramp up her debuff on her ultimate so that it's larger. Also, she collects those stars, so it's a star generator, right? But yeah, this is really about making the debuff bigger. It's additive, though. I just want to be clear. It is an additive thing. So it's not like the good way. It's just a nice higher debuff bonus. Night Runner. Hold on. Sorry. Why is this? Okay. All right. Amber Alert. Night Runner. Jang Sao increases the effective star collector by a percentage equal to the number of stars she's collected on the current run. If you are doing if you are farming stars, this is basically if you want to farm stars and then transition to a deep push, Night Runner's got your back. You can get a little, I think you should be able to get a little manipulative with this. You should be able to start off in Moon Collector or collect, I don't know, a million stars or whatever, and then switch and then change your spec to Night Runner. I haven't tested that, but there shouldn't be a reason that doesn't work. But, you know, whether you would want to start in Night Runner and then just leave it there, I don't know. You'd need to be killing lots and lots and lots of things for this to matter, right? Yeah. So there you go. That's the 3 I just did right now. While I'm almost forever, I'll be in Moon Collector because I want to collect as many stars as possible. Almost forever. I don't know that I'll ever get her capped, but it is what it is. Painter of Beauty. For every this one. Oof. For every pigment assigned to equipment on champions in the formation, the effect of the Mysterious Wanderer is increased by 10%, stacking multiplicatively. This is the good way. This also means, clearly, you're going to want, if you're going to do this, you're going to want pigments on a lot of champions. Now, right now, there aren't a lot of pigments that have entered the game. There's more coming all the time, but yeah, this is one of those that's going to develop and get better and better over time as you get more and more pigments. Yeah. This, I mean, 10%. It's starting off at a small value, 10%, but stacking multiplicatively, and the fact that, you know, you can have 10 champions in your formation, that's a total of 60 items. Even if you only have 1 pigment on each, there's 60 stacks. That's a decent bonus. It's not an outrageous bonus, but it's a decent bonus. It's what? Hold on. I think we were doing this the other day. It's that ends up being like I want to say like a 300% bonus. But that's only a single pigment on everybody. So, you know, it's just some extra goodness. It's some extra goodness. But it is a lower value, even with a high thing, like I said, with 60 of them. So it's not something where you have to feel like, oh my God, I've got to throw a lot of cash at this and up my pigments across my whole group so that I can maximize Jang Sao. It's not one of those. It is a nice bonus. Don't freak out about it, okay? Don't freak out about it. That's everything. We'll go over her gear here in a moment once we gear up. Feat-wise, damage all champions. You get Mysterious Wanderer. You get Star Collector. We get Stellar Nursery. We get Painter of Beauty. Emerging Artist increases the damage of all champions by 40% for each pigment that's on Jang Sao, stacking additively. This feat is, if you end up getting, you could have a max of 12, because there's healing pigments and there's support pigments. We haven't seen the healing pigments yet, but there will be. This would make this feat add 480% damage all champions, which would make it a stellar feat. Even at just 6 support feats, that's 240%. Again, stellar feat for a damage all champions feat. So, but you need the pigments first, right? The Greater Journey changes how Mysterious Wander works. Instead of just formation slots with 2 or fewer adjacent slots, it increases it to 3, which expands her ability to be used quite a bit. A lot more places have 3 or fewer. So this is a great flexibility, a way to make her more flexible in her, your ability to use her. Yeah. Oh, and then one that's boosts the effect of Wisdom of the Ages and Speed of Shooting Stars. That's her first spec. So there you go. Interesting set of feats for her. Her itemization is pretty solid as well. I've already reviewed it on the blog. She's got a good set of items. We're going to look at them now. But here's the thing: how do you gear up? I'm going to show you how to gear up a single champion. It's the only one that I have that doesn't have any gear. But this works if you if you unlocked all 3 of them brand new. This works, and this is. I don't care what people say. This is the most efficient way. There are some naysayers out there. This is the most efficient way to get your champions to blue or better gear. Full epic is just RNG. It's a numbers game. But you can efficiently get to blue or better gear, and CNE feeds you the resources to do this. Okay? What resources are we talking about? Electrum chests, like you get from this stream. Take this code, copy paste it into the cryptex, get yourself an Electrum chest. Electrum chests drop gear for any champion you own. Now, you may be like, but Gaarawarr, I own like a couple dozen champions or 100 or whatever. That's fine. It's not, when you first have a new champion that doesn't have gear, Electrums, it's kind of like there's a magnet under them that will pull gear out of Electrum chests to them first. Because when Electrums drop gear, they kind of want to provide upgrades. They don't have guarantees for that, but they do want to give you upgrades. And when you have no gear, getting a piece of gear in a slot is an upgrade. That's counted as an upgrade. So by opening Electrums first, you are guaranteeing that the first set of Electrums, like up to the first 6, but also more, the first 6 are gonna drop gear for her. Period. And normally they would not. If you opened her silver chests first and she had gear in all of her slots, then Electrums do their pure randomness thing. So this is a way to get some just guaranteed gear, extra guaranteed gear for these ungeared champions. Every one of these is going to have a piece of gear for her. Now, it could be white, which is we've seen 3 times so far. There's a decent chance of getting green, and there's a very low chance of getting blue. But what we're shooting for here is to try to get green or better via her Electrums first, and if we can't get it off whatever Electrums you have, we got some green upgrades. If you can't get it off whatever Electrums you have, then you'll want to start using your silver named chests. As you can see, we got whites, but then we got the green upgrades. So I still need one more. Oops, almost opened the wrong thing. Still need one more. There's a green upgrade. I'll take them. There it is. There's the nightlight. Now we have all 6. So I got the little achievement. Yay. That should have pushed me to 100% complete for Jang Sao. So I am 100% done with this event. And she is in a mix of whites and greens. Okay. My goal here, ideally, is to just keep opening electrums until she's full green or better. Again, chance to trigger blues. I have enough electrums, and CNE gives us enough electrums between events to get her to full blue when it's the only champion you have. If it was all three, it'd be a mix of probably greens and blues. So if you were encountering all three of these and you'd saved up all of your electrums since the last event, mix of greens and blues. But I only save my electrums because all of my champions have green gear or better, so there's no reason for me to open them between events. If you're new and you have champions who have, well, honestly, if you have champions who have blue or less, you can pop electrums whenever you get them, but I find they're most effectively used just to get you to green or better. And at that point, then you can start opening gold chests, right? So here's the thing. If, let's say, well, I'm gonna keep popping some more electrums. Now, there is now a chance, if it's not a green item, it's a white item, it's going to be a duplicate that could go anywhere. There we go. Like, Korth just got a duplicate. And you're basically now fishing for a green upgrade. There, I got one. Let's fish for another one. Nope, that's a duplicate white. There's another green upgrade. Okay, is that all my greens? Need one more. One more. Just to show kind of what we're really targeting for. So there we go. So now I'm full green. If I were out of electrums, okay, no big deal, because I got her to full green. Green or better is really what we're looking for. I'm going to keep opening them. I'm going to get all the way to blue. But let's say if I had run out, I now have silvers. If I wasn't even full green, I have named silver Jang Sao chests. I could open those to get to green as well. That would work fine too. They drop the same rarities of gear, white, green, and blue. Okay. But by opening electrums first, I've used electrums to get her all the way here. And now all of my named silvers are just going to give me bonus item levels, which is power. And I want as much power as I can get out of her during this event. Okay. But the key to getting to green, and why I stopped here, is now the rules for the way gold chests work are going to kick in. So, the way a gold chest works is it guarantees you an upgrade, but only to green or blue. Only to green or blue. Hold on, folks. Still dealing with buffering, folks. It's either a Twitch issue or my internet. It's just not in my house. So drop me down to like 480p, and hopefully it'll be better. But I can't control what it's doing at the moment, unfortunately. Or I'd have fixed it long before now. All right, so golds, to reiterate. Golds can drop upgrades of guaranteed upgrades, green or blue. They can also drop epics, but epics are just RNG, or you're running a pity timer. They have a pity timer. As you can see right now, the pity timer is at 1 in the 4, but then it's going to be 1 out of 10. That's if you're running a full pity timer, it takes 10. Like you can see this gold chest up here, it's 1 in the next 10. So it's just a numbers game for epics. But what we want is we want to get that green base so that when we open a gold chest, we're guaranteed to get a blue out of it. I mean, it's not even a question. It's going to be blue or purple. There's a blue. Blue or purple. There's a blue. There were some duplicate greens, that's fine. But I got my guaranteed upgrade with the blue. This is just how gold chest works. And this is why you want to do this method to start with electrums. When you run out, then you can start burning silvers to get to green or better. Because then, six gold chests guarantees you full blue. Okay? And one of those is going to be a purple. At least one will be a purple. So this next one, because of the pity timer, this next one's going to be purple. And we'll get an epic right now. There it is. Nebula of Dreams also got a blue. That was a bonus. I'll take it. Now I only need one more blue, and then we're full blue. Cool. Yeah, that was neat. So there we go. If this is the best this is easy to get to. I want to be clear. You can get lots of Electrum chests, so they're going to continue giving us Electrum chests like 6 days a week. Well, with Fate Breaker on, maybe 5 days a week, Tuesdays through Saturdays with their streams. But it's like 25 to 30 Electrum chests a week. Feed those, just start popping those. Feed these champions with those Electrums first. Hold on to your silvers and your golds. Your named silvers and named golds. Get those champions to green. And then you can guarantee yourself with just 6 gold chests for each champion. You can guarantee yourself to be 5 blue, 1 purple, minimum. And that is a functional event champion. That is, their power is online and you can start using them. After that, it's about adding item levels to this while you're hunting for full epic. Okay. But you get 1 guaranteed gold chest for each variant. There's 3 for each champion. Then you only got to get 3 more. How do you get 3 more? How do you get more gold chests in an event? You run free plays like this one. This little grayed out chest icon with a question mark means that as long as you complete area 50 and then reset, you're going to get a random chest for this champion. This is what we call, farming chests in an event. So you just have to go to area 50. I set my Modron to 51, and I use those extra event tokens to get myself chests. It's a 1 in 3 chance you're going to get a gold chest. But if you get 3 silvers in a row for Jang Sao, the 4th is guaranteed to be a gold chest. Okay. So you can get to this, to full blue with a purple. It is doable for everyone in these events if you use this method. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to pop all these Electrums. Now, oops, I meant to do that all at once because I burn all these off every event. They'll go randomly to places instead of trying to focus her. If I hadn't popped 6 gold chests, she would have gotten full blue from all of these Electrums, which is fine. Then my silvers and my golds exist just to get me duplicates. Well, the silvers exist to get me duplicates, which is power, item levels. Look at all those blues. Lots of increases in power. And then the rest of these exist to get me to full epic because I have enough to get there. See? Boom. And that's another achievement done for her. Or not an achievement, excuse me. That's this bonus quest down here. Now I've done all the bonus quests now. So I'm done with the event in terms of the bonus quest. Because I don't do that ramping tier stuff. Never forget that. So, itemization for Jang Sao. We've got Mysterious Wanderer, Star Collector, Stellar Nursery, Painter of Beauty, her first specialization choice, and then ultimate cooldown. This is what I said when she has great itemization. She has items for 5 different things. She can buff it all. It's great. It's really great. I love it when they do that. So yeah, there we go. That's that's the event. Those are the 3 champions. Oh, we didn't talk about Virgil's achievement. My bad. We talked about Widdle's. Virgil's achievement is get Virgil to 100 total weather control stacks. Now it's total. So just using him, you'd have to hit his ultimate 50 times and you'd get there. Okay. If you can add in Kent and Gaarawarr, you can get there even faster. So this is pretty straightforward. Jang Sao's achievement is collect 5,000 stars. That means killing 500,000 things, roughly. Even with Moon Collector, you're going to give or take 500,000 enemies. There's ways to do that quickly. I built a speed farm with her in Mad Wizard on a portal level. So it's where the enemies spawn out of a portal. You can kill with click damage, so familiars on the field, and ramp up your click damage, so everything's dying instantly. Throw on speed potions. with some speed champions. I finished in 90 minutes. 90 minutes. I did. Basically, I had it almost done on stream. Okay. So you can get that. You can get that achievement quickly. Up to you if you want to invest that time right now or not. Yeah, I would just for the bonus quest. I would at least get her to the 5,000 so that you complete that bonus quest for the season. Okay. Yeah. All right, folks. We're going to take a short break. I'm going to come back. Gabe has been grabbing your questions. We got about a dozen sitting here. So when I get back, we'll go over those questions. I mean, hopefully I'm going to sacrifice some root beer to the internet gods. And hopefully the frame dropping will stop. Drop beats, not frames, folks. We'll be right back. This song is Widdle's song. This is Widdle's song.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay. Let's do it. This could be it.
She's a little bit evil, a little bit good. She's a little bit sneaky, little misunderstood. Running away from her crimes like a spider she climbs. She's a little bit hero, a little bit villain too. She's a little bit scary, but way faster than you. No matter where you run, she'll be there pointing a gun. She's a tinker and a thinker, a wizard with her tools, a widow of the evil, and she suffers no fools. She's a little bit devil, dread domains woe, very quick on her feet while misleading her foes. But after a vampire's attack, her heart was turned blind. She stepped out of time and stole the devil's rod. Then she dropped her to rest on top of a god. She saved a friend with a pack. Now there's no turning back. She's a tinker and a thinker, a wizard with her tools, a widow of the evil, and she suffers no fools. She's a hound in the night.
good. I'm so happy with it.
It feels good.
It does feel good. What doesn't feel good is that we're like, you all are hearing this about 2 minutes behind me saying it, apparently. Oh, thank you all for sticking with it. Again, I don't have a whole lot of control over the dropped frames. It's not me, it's the internet or something, because I haven't changed anything. Everything in my house is tested to be working fine, and some days it works perfectly. So it's like, So, but we're going to get through it. I got a dozen questions stacked up here. If you have more, again, question : like you see down below, Gabe will grab them for you. Let me see what I can find that's based on the on topic first, but we'll get to off topic stuff later. Valdemar Night Road is potentially worth more to load up on Widdle because her speed mechanic has item support. Not necessarily. Again, as I said earlier, Widdle technically doesn't need tons of item levels because she gets boosted based off the enemies or the champions that you surround her with, and that's a function that has a functional cap based off frame rate anyway. What you really want to target is just making sure you can, if you're trying to hunt epics for people and you have the bounty contracts to hunt epics, if you can't get full epic, what you're hunting for are the speed items on both Widdle and Virgil. Those are the ones that you would really like to have epic, because then the items going into them are going to help you the most. But Virgil is the hungriest for item levels. Again, I don't think you should, eventually you're going to want to cap out Virgil, but Virgil needs far more item levels than Widdle does. So, do whatever you're going to do, but just know, like, everybody here is going to want item levels. And Virgil's going to want more than anybody else. But really, you're trying to I try to hunt when I'm on a new player account. I try to hunt specific epics, or alternately, if there isn't a specific epic that I need, I try to just generally get them all equal number of epics. Like, I'll hunt gold chests until I get an epic on somebody, and then I'll move to someone else's free plays, and I'll go until I get an epic on them, and rinse and repeat. Because then that gives me a good distribution of power across all champions. Yeah. Moses Karada, kind of the same thing. If you got all three at full epic, would you recommend farming Widdle or Virgil more? Virgil needs the item levels more. If you don't have him capped, Virgil needs the item levels more than Widdle does. Yeah. Again, Virgil needs shiny 1985, which means you're going to need about 2,000 average item levels across Virgil's itemization. So he needs more than Widdle does. But really, most of the time where you're getting these item levels, blacksmithing contracts, right? Blacksmithing contracts. Mr. McCranky, I found with multiple parties they can start up 4 free plays for the same amount. Is that a glitch? It is unintended. It's kind of how the game currently functions, but I feel like if you ask the devs, they'd probably say it's unintended, but low on the priority list to fix. They've fixed it took them a while to fix the whole, there used to be a way to access, like, to spend tokens on champions that you popped a time gate for, which was, I want to just tell people, that was only a thing for players who had bajillions of bounty contracts. That was never a good thing for new or mid-game players who don't have bajillions of bounty contracts. It was always a waste for them. But, yeah. They fixed that, but I don't know if they're going to fix this or not. Ever. I don't really worry about it, because I don't know. I have so many, in the grand scheme of things, I open up so many bounty contracts that saving a few hundred or a couple thousand doesn't mean anything to me. Vince, so Jang Sao's alignment, she's basically neutral. Correct. So When it just says neutral, that means you're neutral on both sides. And like in her blog, it said true neutral, which is an old school way of referring to it. But it means you're both neutral on the lawful, chaotic axis and neutral on the good and evil axis. So, you know, she's just right in the middle. So why doesn't the guide for Virgil mention using his variant to get his achievement? Because that some people will have done the variant already? I don't know. Look, I explain how to get the achievement. If there's an easy manipulatable way, I don't necessarily always point that out because not everybody has access to it. And if all I'm doing is explaining how to do it in a specific variant, the people that don't have access to that variant aren't getting any help. Yeah. There's lots of ways to get his achievement done quickly. Doesn't necessarily need to be his variant. His variant is neat for that. If for those of you who have forgotten already, freak weather conditions, it changes every 5 areas. The weather drastically changes. I mean, you're doing this anyway. You'd be getting a lot of these stacks, right? But you don't have to push deep in his variant. You can, but you know, you don't have to get it that way. Dice 42. What minimum item level and star stacks do these champions want to be able to be at to really turn on? I don't know. Again, Virgil at some point is going to want to be capped at 1985 shiny. It's higher if you don't have shiny. They don't have a golden for that yet, I don't think. It's a lot, but you know, that's where he's really, you know, he's maxed out his speed effect. Widdle, I really want to get her up to, you know, at least average item level 250 just so I can cap her ultimate cooldown. But I've found that her, you know, her speed effect seems to work great even at a lower amount. So, but sure, at some point I'll get her there. She just hasn't been a priority target. Jang Sao in terms of stars, I don't do that math for like what's going to be a really solid amount. Again, it's just 1% for each star collected. I've got a 9 EO5 as a total bonus right now, so that puts her up at like an E12 buff. It's not, you know, she's not a super high buffer. She's not a super high buffer, but I also, you know, we're not in a full formation. I don't have a lot of pigments. That's not going to change it a whole lot. But yeah, I mean, she could use a lot more. She could use a lot more stacks. It's really about like how much do you need to make her competitive against other people that you might be swapping her in when she's here, like at an E12. E12s nowadays this feels low, straight up. For someone who's just a generic champ, she's pretty generic champion. She doesn't have a niche. Now this might get better if I switched her spec, right? If I were farming a lot of stars and I switched her spec over, it would affect that as well. But yeah, I also don't have a lot of Dex champions in the formation. I don't have a full formation, so we're not seeing the full power of Jang Sao here, but we have champions now in the game whose main buffs are like E25 to E40. So, yeah. All right. Valimar Night Road. How many of these skulls do we need to build a large ornate chair? Skulls for the Skull Throne. A lot. A lot. Rough Rider, can you discuss the inseparable ability in 12 to 16 letter words, phrases? Oh, is this a... God, why do people keep... Folks, I don't know the answers to the hidden combinations list, but if this is a hint, if they've given this hint, where are they giving these hints? Because I'm never seeing them anywhere, and that's a problem, CNE. If you're going to share hints, share with the whole community. Inseparable ability in 12 or 16. For those of you folks that don't know, there's a 2023 hidden combinations list, and it's basically they made combinations based off things in the game, but they don't, you know, you have to figure that out. And they're just now giving us hints because we're coming into the last couple months of the year. 12 or 16 letter. Okay, so is there an and? There is an and. And Virgil. But that's Cat and Virgil? Nope, not it. Virgil and Kent? Exclamation point? That's not it either. Always together? Double exclamation point? No. I don't know. There. That's as much as the code hunting as I'm going to do. If that's one of the hints, that's cool. But yeah, I would need to sit down. I can't like. It's very difficult on this stream. It would be very difficult for me to sit and really try to crunch through that solution. But I'm sure somebody will get it. General questions? Are we at general questions now? Sort of. Vase, is there any trick to filling in the white and green on champions that already have blue or purple gear? Sure. Keep opening Electrum chests. That's it. I used to be what we referred to as OCD, which I had obsessive collection disorder. So I would obsess over, like, did I fill in all the slots? Did I do it correctly? And there was a way to open them to try to really focus on getting everything filled in first. And it was to start off with silvers back then, because we didn't have electrums, and try to get everything in and get your duplicates and then open gold so that you didn't have any gaps in your collection. I want to be very clear. It doesn't matter if you have gaps in your collection in game terms, but it for some people who are obsessive about their collections, it does, right? But then and I was always like, oh, we got to get some way to help us fill in these things, because I was running, I would run time gates for champions specifically just to fill in their gaps in their collection. I already had full epic on them. I would run until I got getting full collection was a goal I had for a long time. And I ran time gates specifically just for that. But then they introduced electrums, and I was like, okay, I'm good. Because electrums are just going to constantly drop gear for every champion you own. And it'll take a little while to fill in the gaps in your collection, but it will. I have a fully complete collection. And electrums do that. Electrums do that for you just on their own. I know people are still pushing for them to change the rules so that it'll try to target empty collection slots, but just keep playing the game. It's going to fill in. It's going to fill in. I don't obsess about it at all anymore. And I was like constantly fretting over it on stream every time I get a new champion. So, if you max the new core, there's a Dex core in the new season, folks. Is it good enough? I haven't even unlocked. Well, okay, hold on. Oh, I'm at 24. Wow. Okay. There's the core. It's at 21. Yesterday when I went to bed, I did not have enough XP to get here. So now I do. So now I can get the new core and I can start leveling it up. Which means let's see. So blah, 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 over here. There's the new core. Let's take a look at it, folks. Okay. Interesting. So we start at the top. Lots of room here, so I can see why they said you can fully supercharge this one, and now I know why. There's a good amount of spaces. It looks pretty symmetrical. Wow, this is interesting. This could be bait, but double and double again makes me feel like maybe that's a good idea. Sometimes these, oh my god, and they put them around the outside too. Wow. Okay, that's going to draw my attention. But sometimes sometimes the best way is to ignore these doublers. But this is double and double again. That's multiplicatively stacking. So this is 2. This is then 2 times 2, which is 4. And then this 2 times 2, which is 8. This is an 8x multiplier. That's another 8x, and that's another 8x. Seems like a good idea, but I don't know. The thing about cores is it always twists your expectations. So yeah, I mean, now I've got to level it up. I am not emote levels of Briv jumps or Nordum item levels, so it's going to take me a little longer. I'm going to have to I'm going to have to build a specific farm just for leveling this up. And then I'll see how long it takes me to level it up. But then supercharging it, that's going to be a whole other thing. Stay tuned to my streams over Twitch TV/Gaarawarr. Once I get this done, I will probably attempt to supercharge it on stream. I don't think I have the pipes for it. And I say that with all of these pipes, but ultimately it comes down to these directed cross pieces. I don't know if I have what it takes to supercharge that core without sharing parts. So we'll see. I have been told, though, from the community that the power available there is on par with the unaffiliated core, and that's fantastic. That's what I was hoping for. Papa, I just started and have 3 familiars. Nice. Is there a better way to get 6 without spending my gems? No. That's if you have enough gems, if you open up the gem shop and you have enough gems to buy another familiar, buy another familiar. But what you don't want to do is just save and scrape gems up just to get the familiar. Anytime you open the shop, if you've got enough if you don't have enough gems to buy a familiar and you're not close, buy chests. You need that power. That power is going to help you complete areas faster, and complete the game faster, and earn more gems and earn them faster. It's just a nice little feedback loop. So, you just got to keep grinding. You just got to keep going. I mean, you're new, so 3 is pretty easy to get to, but it's just going to take you a while to get more. Vince99, do you get silver gold name chests only at zone 50 or sometimes at 100 and 150 and further? No. This is not. They want to be. I got to do this every time. This is not a time gate. These are events. Events and time gates deliver chests in different ways. In an event, you just have to go to 50. You just have to complete 50. There is nothing else that happens after 50 when it comes to chests, like the named chests. Nothing at all. So again, I usually set my Modron core to oh wow, this is okay. To like 51, and then I have a speed formation, and I grind those chests until I run out of tokens. In fact, if I turn this on right now, we complete this level, it will reset, and I will do another run for a Jang Sao chest, which I need to do anyway. Yeah. And then I won't have enough tokens to start a new one, so it'll just cruise right past 51. And if you earn enough while you're still going and you haven't turned this off, it will then reset the moment you have enough. It's a smart system, but you don't have to go further. This is how you get extra chests in an event. Time gates are completely different monsters. Vesa, since they reworked the champions for season 6, will you be updating their guides? Yeah, when I get the time to do it. With an event dropping and the season dropping on the same day, what I had time for on Wednesday was making most of the guide. I haven't even finished Jang Sao's guide. I got to get her upgrades in and the costs and everything. But there was such an information overload that day that I was just done by the end of the stream, and I didn't come back to it later that night. So but I've got to update all of 5 of these champions guides. It's going to be interesting. And as I do so, I will probably collect some notes about what really changed based off the last version of their guide that I have. And then post a synopsis on the subreddit for people. TLDR, a couple of the changes. And the others, yeah. That's There you go. There's Gaarawarr's review of season 6. Aggie Jess, what are some of the interesting synergies you've found with Jang Sao? I haven't found any. There aren't any. There aren't any. She's a really straightforward champion. She doesn't create any like shenanigans. She doesn't have anything in her kit that would create shenanigans. There are other people that can help her farm stars. But yeah, so she's, like I said, she's a very generic fill champion who has no niche whatsoever, which is odd because their thing lately has been where every champion's going to have a niche now. Because the core 12 were supposed to be the generic champions, but now Jang Sao is here, and I feel like she doesn't really have a niche. It feels like they tried to lean in her niche. Well, here, you put her with this kind of stat champions or this kind of stat champions, but that isn't really a niche. That doesn't mean she's best for a scenario that you're facing. Like, yeah, so she is super cool looking. But she doesn't have, she doesn't offer up anything that's like, here's a cool synergy with X, Y, or Z, right? Like some champions have. Like Virgil and Widdle have cool little synergies, right? Widdle's going to help you attack speed and base attack cooldown while also providing a speed effect, right? And she gets buffs on top of that. Virgil is going to be flat attack speed reduction, either 1 second or 2 second. With a damage bonus and then the ramping thing based off weather, right? And he's got this cool thing where he goes anywhere with Kent. Jang Sao's, hi, I want to farm stars. I don't know what else to tell you currently. There may be things that come up or that other people have figured out that she's really cool with. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some formations that she's great in, right? That are based off her specialization choice for stats, but that isn't necessarily, I don't know. Just having stats that match people isn't necessarily a niche to me. Although now we're sitting here in a high deck season, so maybe, maybe she wants you to be. She does fit in with the season champions. The problem is she's in the same slot as Narak, who's a season champion. So I don't really know where they were going with this one, other than just cool, awesome champion of a type that we don't have, which is true. Lurking Riders. How many tokens should I spend on the event champion chests? This is your chance to rant. Oh, I'm not going to rant, but here's the thing. So as I said before, free plays, the max cost is 2,500 tokens per run. 4 runs guarantees you a gold chest and 3 silvers at minimum, but at best you could have 4 gold chests. So it is better to spend your tokens. It is ideal to spend your tokens doing runs like I'm doing right now, just cycling to 51 and resetting, instead of coming over here and buying like 10,000 or spending 10,000 tokens on a single gold chest. This is a trap. It's always been a trap. It exists for one reason and one reason only. And that is when this timer is just a couple hours left or an hour left or less, and you have over 10,000 tokens and can't run those free plays to earn a chance at chests, you can at least spin those tokens and get something. It is a last minute thing because once the timer's gone, your tokens go away. I'm still wishing that for 72 hours after an event, the tokens would be there so you could buy chests or something, and that they had a silver chest option too, but they've never done that, which is unfortunate. Yeah. So don't the spending tokens on champion chests for 10,000 a pop has always been a trap, and the only time it was ever not a trap was for with that whole thing that there was an exploit that was only for people with millions of tokens to waste. Vince99, what about Timegate chests then, since you said it's different? I mean, I don't like crossing the streams, but Timegates provide chests in a different way. You get 3 guaranteed golds, not unlike an event, but the thing with their free plays is it's a high watermark in a Timegate. And this is why I try not to talk about, I try to just say, it's just different because I don't want to confuse people because everyone's confused. You have to get to like area 100 and then 200 and then 300 and then 400. You have to go further to get chests, but there's no chance at getting another gold chest. It's just silvers. It's kind of pointless. So in a Timegate, really, it's all about getting those 3 gold chests that are right there on the Timegate screen, and then bouncing. There's no farming that goes on in a Timegate, really, that's necessary at all. There are people who for the end game, they're bored and they want to try to get shinies on every champion. So for them, farming as many silvers as possible is a thing they want to do, but I ain't one of them. That's no thanks. I mean, I've got lots of Timegate pieces, but I ain't got the time for that, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So just understand that this is how events work. You complete 50, you get a random chance at a silver or gold chest. It's the best. It's awesome because you can get you have the potential to get full epic gear here. It's going to take a while for you to get to that. If your luck is bad, you need 54 gold chests from event, which takes a lot of tokens. But what I've found is, generally speaking, I need somewhere in the 30s. Somewhere in the 30s gets me full epic. And man, I'm watching, like over here, I'm watching it freeze and go fuzzy, and I hate it. Thanks for hanging out with me today, folks. Hopefully enough is getting through for you to understand what's going on. If not, please know I have a guide to events in general, a guide to event planning up on the subreddit. I also have, this is going to show up real early for everybody because it's going to take a couple minutes for you to get to where I'm at. The link I put in chat earlier will take you to all of my guides on the subreddit. There's a guide to event planning, but I also have guides to each of the events and each of the champions. So if you need tips for events or the champions, you can go there. Again, the season ones need to be the new season reworks. I've got to update those. But the event champions are updated. Blue Moon, if you're still early in the game, is hitting some of the event character missions viable at all, like Jang Sao's 5,000 stars mission. Well, that's not a mission, it's an achievement, to be clear. It's an achievement. The words we're using to describe things are important because this is how we get people confused. Like you have adventures and you have variants. You can do the unlock adventure. You can definitely do all 3 variants. Again, I recommend getting some favor before you get that. Doing the achievements, yeah. I mean, if you're brand new to the game, there might be some things you don't get right now. Like if you can't get to area 275 yet, you won't be able to get these until the event returns. But things like this, you don't have to get them during the event. There is a quest, for it, for bonus quests for the season, but that puts pressure on people. But understand that these character-specific achievements can be done at any time. They don't have to be done while the event is on. That being said, you've got, you still got 9 days-ish, right? Yeah, 9 days to work on it if you want to get it done now. But you can always wait. You can always wait. If you have questions, folks, question : before your question. If you just ask a question in chat, chat will answer. But that doesn't mean I'm going to see it. For example, because I'm out of questions, In Chains asked, have champions ever had their seat changed? But didn't put question colon in front of it, so wouldn't normally have gotten answered by me. But the answer is once. Once in 6 years. And it was Jaheira. And it was specifically because Jaheira was in a bench slot with... They changed Heroes of Baldur's Gate affiliation and added more people to it, and suddenly Jaheira was in a bench slot with another Heroes of Baldur's Gate. So when they reworked her, they moved her to a different bench seat. But that's clearly very rare. We're 127 champions into the game, and they've only ever moved one once. So don't expect it again. Frankly. Yeah. I don't know. Let's do this. Since people have been asking about hunting stars and moons, I will show off again. You don't need these specific champions, but I'm going to show you what I feel is an incredibly efficient way to hunt stars and moons. You want to go to Mad Wizard. And if all you have is, if you don't have any speed champions at all, and you just have Jang Sao, and you want to farm stars and moons, none of these things matter. We would just go to Moon Collector. I park a familiar, really just, if you have some on the field, that's great. Put one on click damage, and then we just want to find a portal level. And at that point, as long as the click damage level is equal to or higher than the portal level that we're on, we're good. And we don't have to put any more money into it. Does this work? This is technically a portal. Well, this is a spawner. So this is the level we're looking at. I can take these off now. I don't even need the most of the, I would need at least a minimum of 3 familiars to do this super fast. But you can do it with 1. Having 3 picks up the gold, and just we're clicking some things faster, and anything else is bonus. I have enough damage on my click damage because I'm only on level 3. So this does work on level 3. All my click damage would need to be at is level 3, but you can run it up higher. And what I'm doing is I'm instantly killing things when they spawn, and it's with the familiars. Now, the way this game works, when you kill a wave, the new wave hasn't spawned yet, it forces it to spawn. And instead of spawning off the right side of the screen and having to travel onto the screen, it's just instantly popping out of this spawner. This makes this the fastest way to farm kills, period. This is it. In terms of spawning new enemies and killing them. This is a spawner version. There's portal versions here in Mad Wizard. But this is the fastest way to do it. If all you have is Jang Sao, this is it. If you have, hey, you got Widdle now. Throw Widdle in. Doesn't matter the specialization, because Widdle's going to be here for the speed effect. She's going to help things spawn faster. And that's it. Like, if this is all you have right now, pair these two together, and you're good. Now, if you happen to have Deacon, you'd want Deacon. If you happen to have Shandy, you'd want Shandy. Shandy speeds the game up. Deacon boosts spawn speed just like Widdle does. And then the only other person I would add to this is Melf. If you have Melf, what you'd want with Melf specifically is speedy supplements. You would want him. You would find a portal where not where enemy spawn speed is increased, but where he spawns additional enemies. So a little more work with Melf, but that would make this even faster. But this is it. This is how you get to 5,000, and then you pop an epic speed potion, or an hour or two, and cruise. and cruise. All right, last question, because I'm buffering like heck and we still got to play some music. Dr. Alcedo, which of the 3 champions is better to full epic on current event? Again, I don't make those recommendations because I don't believe that's how you should think about it. Don't believe that's how you should think about it. What you want to think about is what epic items do you actually need? What do you really want? And what you want is a slot 5 on Virgil and a slot 4 on Widdle. Those are the speed items. Anything else you get above and beyond that is bonus. But what you're hunting for really is slot 4 on Widdle and slot 5 on Virgil. Anything you can get above and beyond that for the rest of them, great, but try to equal them out. Okay. All right, that's going to be it. Join me in about an hour and ish, maybe, if my internet continues to just be this horrible. I might not stream today, but I'm going to try to stream some more Baldur's Gate 3. We're playing a Dark Urge playthrough. We've themed my Dark Urge champion as John Wick. He's a monk. And he's very dark. We've been getting some seriously dark urges lately. So come join us over there. Also, I play Idle Champions on Mondays and Wednesdays over on my stream. I also update guides live over there as well and answer questions, so come join me then. That's it, folks. The song we're going out on is, we don't have a song for Virgil or Jang Sao, so we're going out on Penelope. She arrived in this event a while back. This is Won't You Be My Friend on the red guitar, which is the best way to hear it. Bye, everybody.
Won't you be my friend? One without a fear. I've got a hand to lend. We'll be smiling through the air. Call me a half-pint sprout, but I want you to know, my friends say there is no doubt that I'm a whole hero. My love for adventure is second to none. So if you come along with me, we'll have lots of fun. Won't you be my friend? One without a fear. I've got a hand to lend. We'll be smiling through the air. Remember when things get dark, I can be your light. When you're ready to disembark, be there to fight. Going to mold the earth just to give you a hug. And when there's a storm outside, we'll be snug as a bug. Won't you be my friend? One without a fear. I've got a hand to lend. We'll be smiling through the air. Our friendship is strong and we'll never part. Saving the world with the power of our heart. I'll never say goodbye.